the day? I don't know. I hope he does that. Like, so your mind will always try to figure it out. Like, will Robin and Batman sleep together? Like, your mind will always try to figure it out. But the truth is, you have to observe and you observe your feelings. It's like, I feel I should open this door now. And it's like, oh my God, it's a threesome with the Joker. Who would have thought?
Hello, my friend and earthly neighbor, and welcome back to the jolly month of July. And I have to say, to be honest, it hasn't been that jolly, but I do think that this week things will change. We just had a 0-degree new moon over the weekend in the I Love Me Leo transit, and we'll get another lunar eclipse and solar eclipse in this cycle, which is going to skyrocket you to serious joy. From my smartphone to yours, keep streaming for your weekly Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a galactic way to begin your day. I'm your heartfelt host and the sensei to serious joy, Christopher Witecki. So good to see you back, my friend. Namaste. Well, I'm happy to report that the high tides of emotion, known as Cancer, is finally over for the year. And over the weekend, we had a new moon in I Love Me Leo. Woohoo! And that new moon was a powerful one. It conjuncted Mars and was at step 0. That tells Sensei that this year, God Universe intends to rebuild the relationship from yourself to your heart all the way from ground zero to step 28, when we have a total solar eclipse, the Great American Solar Eclipse, on August 21st. So this week, I'm going to talk you through the first leg of this journey, which is learning how to love yourself on a new level. Then later in our tea time, I'll talk about the relationship between Uranus and the Sun and how you are birthing a mini-me. But first, let's take a look at the week's moods and your zodiac weather. This zodiac weather is from Monday, July 24th to Friday, July 28, 2017. Looking at your 5-day moodcast. Well, looking at the week at a glance, it's a little bipolar. It's up, down, like Charlie Brown's t-shirt. Let's drill down. On Monday, it's super sunny and super loving as a Grand Trine Fire kicks off the season in Leo. On Tuesday, it's cloudy, overcast, and rather moody. The moon in Virgo makes you nitpicky. On Wednesday, it's back to sunny, expanding and learning. Things are looking optimistic. And then on Thursday, it's overcast with a chance of minor lightning storms or showers, as breakdown breakthrough is the theme of the day. And then Friday, it's overcast but learning, positive but moving forward. Well, as you can tell, we begin this week going up and down. That's because we're entering into the chambers of our heart. And it's also because the Sun is conjuncting Mars all week. In our next segment this week, I'm going to walk you through the week and talk to you about Mars. Taking a sneak peek at the upcoming week, I coined this week, Loving Myself in a Whole New Way. That's precisely what I believe God Universe is doing now in this Leo season. We are being pushed by many planets and many transits to fall in love with ourselves, either for the first time or once again. The last time the universe had this cycle was between 1998 and April of 2000. I can recall those times. There was a lot of Y2K crisis and everyone was excited for the year 2000. There was a lot of love. There was a lot of enthusiasm. There was a lot of .com kind of fever, but we were feeling it. We didn't quite know what it was. The difference between that time and this time is, this time when we go through this North Node in Leo cycle, the universe has Uranus in Aries and Saturn in Sagittarius, which means as you fall in love with yourself this season, you are tying it into a new character and a new way of being, and you're tying it into the story you were born to live. So you could say 98 to 2000 was just a practice round. This one is the real deal. And adding some sugar and a whole lot of spice is Mars. That means our ego is working directly with this transition. The Sun and Mars are conjuncting all week long. That means as we begin the foundation of this love transit, we are including the motives of our ego. And that's super good fortune because usually our ego is off on another tour, chasing after something else, and certainly not chasing after love all the time. This year, God Universe is saying, oh no, we must coordinate our ego and our heart with our own discipline and our own responsibility, Saturn, and also the greatest character we've ever been as of yet, represented by Uranus in Aries. So looking at the week, it's going to be a bit moody. It's very up and down, and that's because the first stage, or the first 10 days of this, is really about evaluating where we are at the current moment with loving ourselves. So if you've not been loving yourself very well in the last year or 18 years, this week could be a bit of a bummer. It could also be a bummer with high highs. It's very bipolar in the sense that the universe will try to inspire you, then the universe will show you the way it really has been. Then the universe will try to inspire you, then the universe will show you the way it has been, okay? Now, you can get preoccupied with relationships and love affairs right now, but really you're racing ahead. That's something you want to think about when it comes to love in about 3 or 4 weeks at the end of the transit. If you really want to build some serious joy, it begins with the way you love yourself. And that is the focus of the week and the focus I'll be using with my subscribers to Serious Joy. We'll be doing a 40-day intensive manifestation of our heart's desires, by the way, each day focusing on it. So let's go through the week and take a look at the moons and what you can expect. On Monday, it's super sunny and loving. This is going to be one of the highs, okay? So Monday is loving. The moon is still in Leo from the new moon. We had a new moon over the weekend that kind of set the stage for love. Could have been a sad new moon, could have been a happy new moon, could be optimistic or sad. It was ground zero. It's all or nothing. But by Monday, things are joyful. The rainbows are out. Everyone's smiling. It's summertime. And maybe you're feeling like you look hot. That's one of the things about Leo. You know, people tend to find to look hot in the summer. They have a tan. Maybe they finally shut off some of that weight. And so this is one of those days you're just like, yeah, kind of like that lion in the sun. So Monday's a great day for a date, a great day to creatively brainstorm, a great day to think about what your heart truly wants from yourself in this life. What means the most to your heart? That's the question. Then on Tuesday, it's cloudy and super moody. All right. The reason for this is the moon goes into Virgo, and so emotions get really real. After a day of totally daydreaming and being on cloud 9 on Monday, Tuesday it's like, oh, the bills come in, the reality hits, you get on the scale, you haven't lost that much weight, you have sunburn lines, not tan lines, you know what I mean? Like, and that hyper-awareness of Virgo just could make you go into the dump about how you love yourself. But that's the universe showing you how low things can get, or a demonstration of how good you are at loving yourself in hard times. Now, I must underscore, your heart will be extra sensitive this week. You'll also be really wired to go off. The Sun and Mars are conjunct the entire week, which means the heart could go too far when you try to play, so be careful when you're out there playing on Monday, and the heart could go too far with the lows, feeling all sad and it's never going to change and poor me, that kind of Leo lion with the thorn in the paw, you know what I mean? So Tuesday's a possible low. It's cloudy, step 2 rules a day. Your feelings about your heart are coming to the surface, and it's in Virgo, so it's super, super nitpicky. We're all being too critical, probably, of ourselves. But then Wednesday, bloop, it gets happy again. It's sunny and expanding. The Sun and Mars were dead conjuncting on this particular point, and that's at step 3. So that means that you're going to, after this high and this low, learn something right away. So Wednesday will be an optimistic day where you'll feel yourself expanding. You'll feel opportunity opening. It's a good day to try new things. It's a good day to make new introductions. The moon will be in Virgo, but it won't be in the early stages of Virgo. Then on Thursday, we get sour again. It's overcast with a chance of showers. Could be lightning storms, could be full-on tears, all right? That's because step 4 rules the day. Step 4 is breakdown, breakthrough, and so we may have a breakdown. Now, I have to give you a little caveat here. You could break down Wednesday night because in the United States, step 4 is beginning before the day ends. And that's true in the United States right now. The step is changing. My software shows this, by the way. So you might have a breakdown Wednesday night or Thursday morning or both. All right, so there will be breakdown. Thursday will be difficult. Be careful on Wednesday night. Remember, the Sun and Mars are working together, so people can get into accidents. People can get hurt operating machinery. It's whatever will show you how good you love yourself or don't. So if you don't love yourself enough to put on your seatbelt, this could be a time where you get into an accident, something bad can happen. So please be careful. Please love yourself this week. Then on Friday, after the showers of Thursday, it's cloudy, overcast, let's say humid, but we're learning. Step 5 rules the day. So your mind is starting to get it by the end of the week. And again, to kind of put parentheses around the whole week, what are you trying to get? You're thinking about loving yourself in a whole new way. That the way you have been loving yourself has not been good enough. And think of it this way, even if it has been good, this is the first time we've focused on this since 1998, so it's time for it to be gooder. So no matter what, things must go up, things must be better. So on Friday, there's a lot of processing. I will say Saturday will be sunny and cool, and Sunday will be spiritual. So this is a week of learning about your heart and about how well you are at loving yourself. Now, with that said, there's a story going on in the background with Uranus, and it's been grand trotting into the whole scheme. So go steep yourself some tea, and let's have our weekly tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time topic is my mini-me. Did you ever see Austin Powers? There was a point in those series of films where he had a little mini-me, which was a cloned version of him, but it was small, only 1/8 his size. And the interesting thing about that was it's actually kind of the truth as far as how we love ourselves. We all have a little mini-me inside of us. We all have a little prince or a princess inside of us. That inner child never dies. Our heart is always alive. But how do we treat our mini-me? How do we love our mini-me? Now, most people love themselves based on how they grew up in their family. So if they were treated like crap, they tend to treat themselves like crap. Usually they follow through with how they were treated. And then they go law of attract situations where people treat them like crap. And then they law of attract more situations that still treat them that way. And they can't seem to fix the life matter. Like, how do you change this cycle? Well, the truth is law of attraction of relationships and everything else is based on how you treat yourself. The way you love yourself is the way others will love you. That is law of attraction. So if you were born in a crappy childhood, that tells me as sensei that before you died in your last life, you were not loving yourself at all. So you were born into a family that did not love you well enough, and you did not love yourself again. And we stay in these cycles until we learn. The good news is the universe does give us a little extra credit and a little extra help every now and then, and this is one of those times. The North Node is in Leo, which means God universe is pushing us into our hearts, pushing us into our personal serious joy, but at the same time, which is not what happened in 98, we also have Uranus in Aries, and we have Saturn in Sagittarius, so we have a grand trine of fire. As we reinvent the relationship to our heart, we also change our character, and we change our story. Those two were not happening in 98 to 2000. Now they are. So this is a reason why I believe this is the moment that humankind is stepping into their role as far as their fate, the story they were born to live. And behind stepping into that story is stepping into your heart. It's now time to redefine the way you treat your mini-me. It's now time to spoil your mini-me, raise the bar of how you love yourself, and commit to a higher level of self-love. If you do that, I believe you will ascend out of the karmic lesson that you were born in and into a higher, greater, personal, and serious joy. Now, that said, there's a story going on in the background that's going along with this. This week, we're getting into our heart. We're going to feel what our heart has to say to us. We're going to find out how much we have loved it or not how much we have loved it. Our heart is going to be very, very tender this week. But there's also Uranus still pushing for us to grow as a character. In fact, Uranus is a big part of the story. Uranus is in Aries, which is our ego and our character and our actions. And Mars is conjuncting the Sun, which is our ego, our character, and our actions. So what this tells me is a lot of loving yourself comes down to an action. It's not a thought, oh, I love myself. It's an action. Do you take action to love yourself? Is your ego based on taking action to love yourself, or is your ego based on taking action for others to love you? That's the big pole reversal I think we're going to see with our light walkers out there, especially the ones who have been walking the light their whole life. You probably put all of your heart and all of your ego into helping others and never took time to put on your own oxygen mask or eat your own birthday cake. All right? So Uranus will be direct for 10 more days. This is the last 10 days of Uranus being direct, which means God Universe is putting the last touches on our new ego for a while. We'll have a long break and won't have to be pushed any longer with having to get stronger and redevelop our ego. And in this last 10-day stretch, what God Universe is saying is the cherry on top of changing your ego has to do with how well you love yourself or don't. So I thought I would help out all 12 signs today by talking about these two stories in parallel and how they work together. All right, so we'll talk about the buildup of this personal character, and we'll talk about how it relates to how you love yourself or don't love yourself. And as always, we will begin with the purebreds, the Aries. Learning to take a drink because I notice I get dry mouth in these segments. All right, so Aries. Aries has Uranus in Aries. They're probably the most affected by this. And they may look like they only love themselves, but that's not true. They're often showing off and going out of their way for people and being heroes because they don't love themselves and they're trying to prove they're lovable. All right? So Aries now are going to have the last chapter of building their character and putting the cherry on top of their new ego, completely determined by how much they love themselves or don't, how they respond to their heart and how they love themselves. And if you change the fundamental way you love your mini-me this week, you will be on course for serious joy. And of course, you'll be on the strongest course for that. The purebreds always are paving the way and showing us how it's done. So go, Aries, go. Reinvent that self-love based on heart, not achievement, which is what ego is. Taurus. Taurus have been building their faith for a long time, and it's been difficult. And the last stretch of building your faith right now has nothing to do with success in the world or business or money or manifestation, Taurus. The last bit of building your faith has to do with how well you love your own emotions. That's right. Tauruses have Leo in the 4th house, which means they love themselves at home. They love themselves by the way they respond to their feelings. So when you're sick and you're tired and you don't feel like it, are you going to love yourself more or are you not? The planets are saying that for you to have that grand faith, that unbreakable faith inside of you, it will come down to loving yourself and loving your feelings, treating your feelings in a loving way. All right? Geminis. Geminis have been building their place in the world and their social character for some time. Uranus is pushing for them to have a new identity in the world. And the final last 10 days of that new identity in the world comes down to loving thoughts. All right? Geminis are meant to have loving thoughts. They quite often don't have loving thoughts. In fact, most Geminis I know worry all the time. Their thoughts are not self-loving. They don't come from a place of love. They come from cold logic. So, if you want to find your true place in the world and your true power, make your thoughts loving from this point forward and see how well you can hold that train this whole week. Cancers! Cancers have trying to build their legacy in the world. That's their career, the children they leave behind, the relationships they have. And the last 10 days of building your legacy comes down not to your career achievements, not to things in the outer world, but how much you love yourself in the process. You are growing your self-esteem, and your self-esteem, Cancer, is based entirely on how much you love yourself or not. Now again, Cancers tend to be those people that are out rubbing everyone else's back, trying to help everyone else, trying to feel loved by loving others. You got to reverse that polarity now. Put the love into yourself first, let it grow in maturity, and then cash out, Cancer. So you will figure out what your legacy is when you love yourself first before someone else. Leos! Happy birthday, Leos! And hello, Leo risings like myself, if you can't tell. Leos are obviously the most affected by this, and thank Goddess, I have to say, as a Leo rising and having a Leo moon and knowing all the Leos I know, they may be kind of shiny, but they have not been happy, okay? It's been very difficult. This is their big 18-year booster shot, so the Leos are going to become supernovas if they do this stuff right. Leos tend to love where they've been growing in their life has been life purpose. Uranus and Aries have been saying, where do you belong in the world? Where are you supposed to shine as a star? What's the meaning of all this anyways? And see, Leos have been a little lost. They're not clear. They think they're on the right path, but they're not sure if they're on the right path. And what the planets say is, that's because you have fallen out of love with yourself, Leo. You must be completely in love with yourself. Every action must be to love yourself more. That doesn't mean stand on other people, by the way, or hurt others. You don't have to hurt someone to love yourself, and you don't have to have an audience to love yourself. So Leos are actually falling in love with themselves again. They were born in love with themselves, but they probably fell out of love due to public scrutiny and mistakes and things like that. But you will find your place in the world. Your destiny and your life purpose is based out of what comes from you loving yourself. And in this case, being a role model and example for the rest of the world. Virgos. Virgos have been doing a very uncomfortable personal transformation with Uranus and Aries, being forced to move their boundaries. And Virgos are like huge mountains as far as their rocks are concerned. So a boundary for them is moving this huge piece of sheetrock this way and a huge piece of sheetrock that way. And they've been real reluctant to change their inside trust in themselves or trust the world because they just want things to not go wrong, so they tend to hold on really tight. Well, you're almost ready to go through that complete transformation, that complete makeover, and there's only one thing missing. Faith, all right? You have lost faith. Now, Virgos have faith completely from the heart. They, by loving themselves, by loving Creator, by being grateful for their life, you will build unstoppable trust in yourself. You must empty up the love, okay, for yourself, basically through spiritual means. Like, do spiritual things for yourself. Let yourself have some holy time. Treat yourself as holy, not critical. Okay, so the more you love yourself on the deepest spiritual level, the more trust you will have, and you will be able to transform your life. Libras. Libras actually have been growing for a long time in long-term relationships. They've been transforming their partnerships, and with Jupiter in Libra, they've been changing their ego. So they've been under some massive construction. And remember, relationships is what they're good at. So the universe has said, you need to change what you're good at, right? Pretty big deal. Well, there's only one thing left as far as Libras changing their relationships, and that has to do with how much you love yourself in the world. In other words, you must love who you are in the world. You must love doing what you do in the world. You must love your friends. You must love where you are. If you're not loving that experience in the world, if you're not loving your neighborhood and loving your town, well, then you're not going to be able to ever be in that relationship you're looking for. So the universe is saying, Libras, it's time to do what you love. It's time to follow what you love. It's time to go for your personal dreams in society. And when you do, you will have finished the work on relationships. That's the final brick that you needed as necessary. Scorpios. Scorpios have been trying to get out of misery for years now. Uranus and Aries has been for them to upgrade their personal daily lifestyle. So that's work, their health, how they live in the moment. They've been working like dogs, frankly. And right now they have another 10 days of putting together their, let's say, beta lifestyle with Uranus and Aries before it goes retrograde. And the one last detail that's left, says the planets, is if you want a happy lifestyle, you must be absolutely in love with your career. You must be in love with your decisions. You must be making decisions based on the most loving thing for you. Not getting ahead, not making money, not superpower, but loving, the most loving decisions for yourself. When you get into a habit of making loving decisions for yourself, Scorpio, you will have the last mile of what a happy lifestyle is. That's what you're missing from your happy lifestyle. Sagittarius is. Now, Sages have actually been working on true love in their dreams. Uranus and Aries has been having them transform the way they fall in love, transform what serious joy is for them altogether. And this is a very interesting one. For you to finish the last mile of developing your serious joy, the universe says you must change what beliefs you hold on to, what beliefs you love. So many Sages have been holding on to beliefs that they don't love. They've been holding on to beliefs that other people have agreed upon, beliefs that make the world happy, beliefs that go along with the church, okay? And you're the believer, you're the Sag. You're only supposed to believe in what you love. That's okay. It's Peter Pan. This is creation. Yes, it is fairy tale. And you won't have the greatest love of your life or live in the greatest part of your heart if you don't Follow the beliefs that you love and discard the beliefs that you don't love. So it's time to fall in love with what you believe, and that will secure serious joy. Capricorns. Capricorns have been working on their emotional security. They may look rock solid, but inside they're a hot mess, let me tell you. Okay, like they are very, very unstable emotionally, and they're babies. I have a little Capricorn puppy, and like he's such a little baby inside, but he acts all tough and king of the mountain. It's really cute. Well, according to the astrology, your emotional security is really based on your own self-trust, okay? You have not been loving yourself enough on the inside, loving yourself enough on the intimate side of life, not loving the small little parts of yourself that you tend to ignore. You've been avoiding love in the most intimate, personal areas and going cold and being businesslike all the time. And because you haven't been loving yourself in the most intimate way, or perhaps you haven't been loving yourself with the lovers that you choose, that's another way of looking at it. Okay, you're not choosing the lovers that you really love, but the ones that are affordable. Okay, I don't mean that in an escort way, but the point is because you haven't made your boundary choices in life using love, you've used business, you've used other tactics, that's the reason why you haven't finished your emotional security. So when you love yourself and trust yourself and make boundary decisions with love, you will be emotionally secure. Aquarius. Aquariuses have been very fixed in their thinking, and they've been looking for the answer, can't find the answer. Why is that? Well, the universe says you can't find the right attitude and can't find the right answer because your daily life, your relationship to yourself, is not loving enough. Frankly, you're being too cold and too calculated with yourself. It's time for you to develop a 100% loving marriage. By loving yourself, by approaching yourself with a loving attitude, by treating yourself the way you would want the angels to treat you, you will snap out of your stubbornness and you will find the answers that you're looking for. The answers are from self-love, Aquarius, even the answers to scientific problems. And then finally, the Pisces. Pisces! You've been trying to build your finances, abundance, and self-esteem for many years now. Okay, Pisces have been back and forth about money, most of them, having a hard time getting what they're worth in the world, especially the spiritual ones. They feel like, who cares about spirit? No one pays for spirit. The universe says, here's the deal. You will make the money you deserve when you live in your body in a loving way. When you love your body, when you love your daily life, when your moment-to-moment activity and work lifestyle is based on love, you will draw on the abundance. Change your lifestyle to love, and the abundance will come for the fishies. Okay, you'll get the golden fish bowl if you just treat yourself golden every day. So I hope that helps everybody with their mini-me and how to treat their mini-me and how it folds out. Don't forget, you can also listen to this based on your rising sign and ascendant. Because we're in such a profound time right now with changes, it will apply probably to both stories. It'll apply to your sun story a little bit. It'll apply to your rising story a big bit. And I want to remind you of a couple of things. For one, we're doing a 40-day manifestation on SeriousJoy.com. All right, if you're a Serious Joy subscriber, I'm going to walk you through for the next 40 days of how to come into your heart. We're going to focus on manifestation every day. Most of the time, people don't manifest things because they don't follow through. They don't have a spiritual life coach that's pushing them to shift and alter their consciousness. So I highly recommend you give it a try right now. You're not going to hear me harping about my service in Virgo when this is all over. All right? Come on down to SeriousJoy.com, try it for $3.99 for the first month, and manifest the first layer of your Serious Joy in 40 days. Don't forget about it. This is also the last week of my summer sale for readings. If you would like a reading for $40 off a 1 hour and $30 off a half hour, come on down to wateki.me. And lastly, we have a club on the internet on Facebook. It's at namastetoday.club. There you can find my audio broadcasts of Namaste Today on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And live on Friday, it's Friday Live, where I talk to all the members. We bring members on camera. This week, our topic will be twin flames. So if you have a fun twin flame story that you'd like to share with our audience, contact us at support@seriousjoy.com. We'd love to talk to you on camera. I think with this season of love, it's time to talk about twin flames and super love and just fill everyone's mind with awesome love and passion. All right, friends, so grateful to be of soul service. So grateful you show up. So grateful that you tell your friends and family. And this is a time where if you know anyone who's lost, on the edge, been depressed or sour, give them over to Namaste Today. Show them my show. This next 6 weeks, we can change our life. I'm serious about that. Well, we got a nice loud plane to end this segment. I just love that. Well, friends, I hope you have a fabulous week. Remember, I love you, and to live, love, be.